Hey guys, excited to be back here. If you're new to the stream, my name is Vincent Say, and I am a FIDE master. And today we will, like always, be trying to win first place in third Saturday tournament. And let's get started, for sure. So, let's see, okay. My first opponent is Elwin200, and my screen is freaking frozen. Fantastic. Okay, let's see. Jesus, okay, let me refresh my screen. Hopefully it works, because my opponent played e4, but it's glitching. So let's see what happens. Okay, so as I'm waiting for the screen to load, again, my name is Vincent Say, and you're watching Chess4Unity's third Saturday event. So this is a monthly event that invites everyone of all rating strengths and playing rating levels to play in a tournament. And we have three sections. We have under 600, under 1200, and the open section. And first place for all three sections is $30. Second place is $15, and entry is free. So you have a chance to play chess, play for fun, and also win some prize money in the process. So, great deal for all of us. Okay. I'm still waiting for this screen to not glitch. Which is fantastic, because I probably already forfeited this round. Oof. Okay, what is happening here? Okay, it's not the internet, but let's see if I already forfeited this round, or is there a chance for me to keep playing? Okay, good. Okay, somehow, I don't know if you guys can see what's going on the screen. So it's a French e4, e6, d4, d5, e5, c5. I'm playing black. 1 second. Knight c6. Okay, I don't know if you guys can actually see the screen, but we're gonna get it fixed in a second. Okay, apologies, some technical issues here. Okay, does it work? Yeah, okay. So, we're going the French defense, and my opponent plays bishop e3, queen b6, and now I'm putting pressure on both the b2 pawn and the d4 pawn as well. So let's see how they react. Okay, queen d2 was played by my opponent. Let's see, what can we do here? Let me go rook c8. I think we have time to continue developing on the queen side. Right now it's difficult to see how I can get my king side pieces out, right? Because knight e7 is always met by d takes c5, and my bishop is blocked. Knight h6, I mean, I guess I can play that. Bishop takes h6, g takes h6, but I'm not sure I want to make that kind of pawn structure commitment just yet. Maybe, but because it's unclear to me, I'm just going to continue, as of now, continue developing my queen side pieces. So, just to make sure I'm making somewhat progress in this position. Okay, so that is the move I was hoping for. And the reason why is because now c takes d4 makes sense. And if bishop takes d4, obviously I take the knight, I take the bishop, and I think black is absolutely fine in that position. If knight takes d4, now knight takes e5, and he loses the e5 pawn. And finally, if c takes d4, now the option to play knight b4. And I'm attacking the light square bishop. The bishop can't move because knight c2, and my rook defends the c2 square. So my opponent would have to give up the bishop pair. Perhaps even more. So let's see what my opponent decides to do here. The best option is probably to play bishop takes d4, in my opinion. Knight takes d4 and then knight takes d4. I think that gives the best shot of at least stabilizing the position. And that position looks pretty equal to me, right? I would prefer black because of the bishop pair. Okay, my opponent does do that. I think that's a very smart choice. I pretty much have to take back on d4. And I absolutely prefer my position, but I think it's an interesting one for sure. Okay, c takes d4 was played, which, I mean, okay. C takes d4. Alright, what can I do here? Let me go bishop b5. Should I go bishop b5? Let's go knight e7. I want to continue developing my knight and move it to c6 and then perhaps b4 later on. So, because at some point white is going to have to castle, and I think most likely white is going to choose to castle right now. And then I go knight c6 attacking the d4 pawn. And I don't know if there's a way after knight c6 for my opponent to stop knight b4. Which, again, the similar idea, trying to get the bishop pair. Okay, yeah, like I said, castle, knight c6. And now knight takes d4 is threatened, right? Oh, my opponent has this interesting move. I don't know if you'll see it, but rook c1 is a nice in-between move that I did not see or expect. The idea is after rook c1, if black takes on d4, rook takes c8, bishop takes c8, knight takes d4, queen takes d4. And now since my bishop is on c8, my opponent has bishop b5 check, winning the queen. So rook c1 prevents knight takes d4. And, well, I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? Rook c1, I can play bishop e7 and then castle, and I'm perfectly fine as well in that position. Okay, my opponent has saw this move. Okay, that's very impressive. Let me go bishop e7. Okay, knight c3. Let me do some calculating because now I think knight takes d4 works. And I don't see anything wrong with it. Knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4. Let's say white goes knight b5. Right. Knight b5, queen takes e5. Rook takes c8, bishop takes c8, rook c1, castle. Right, and I get my pieces out in time. I think that works. So let's go knight takes d4. And knight takes d5, I play rook takes c1 first, rook takes c1, and then e takes d5. And I should be fine there as well. Knight takes d4. Okay, my opponent clearly is thinking about something. I'm sure just kind of missed knight takes d4. Okay, takes, queen takes. Knight b5, I think, is the best try. Right, you don't... Yeah, knight takes there. I think queen takes e5 should be the move. If rook takes c1, rook takes c1, queen takes e5, knight c7, I don't really like that. Queen takes e5 immediately should be the best. Okay, rook takes c8, bishop takes c8. Maybe knight takes a7. Makes sense. What do I do then? Probably bishop d7. Right, I don't see a reason why I would give up the bishop pair with castle. Oh yeah, and knight takes a7. If castle, my opponent might have queen c2 as well, double attacking the bishop takes h7 and knight takes c8. Okay, but here I think it makes sense to castle. Okay, knight takes c7. I expect knight takes a7. At least black should try to win a pawn back. Oh, but knight takes a7, I have bishop g5. Which wins. So you can't go knight takes a7. Right, that's good to see. Yeah, I think bishop g5. I mean, I don't think it wins. He has queen c3. Actually, I don't even know if that's good for me. Bishop g5, queen c3. Okay, d4, queen c7. I don't see how that's good for me at all. I might just go with bishop d7. Okay, I have to be careful with my time. I remember I lost 4 minutes in the beginning. So, I'm not that... I'm actually down on time in this case. Okay, knight b5. Now bishop g5 makes sense, does it? Does it change anything? I am not particularly sure. You can still play queen c3, d4. Okay, bishop g5, queen c3, d4, queen c7. Okay, I mean, it is a little bit different now. Okay, I see an idea. Let me go bishop g5, just so I force my opponent to find queen c3, because that's not necessarily a very easy move to find. And then I have ways to deal with that after. So let's start with that and see what happens. Because after queen c3, now I have options like queen takes c3, rook takes c3, bishop f6. I have options like queen c3, bishop f6 immediately, which looks perfectly fine to me. And just a ton of options, but this way with bishop g5, I force my opponent to burn some time, right? Because I don't want to be the one that's scrambling for time, so that would force my opponent to burn some time. And rook e1 allows me to go queen takes h2 in the worst case I saw. So this wins a pawn instantly. So that's one of the interesting strategies. You want to play moves that make your opponent burn time and think. Meanwhile, you have to have a response for... It might not necessarily be the best move. Bishop g5 might not be the best move after queen c3, right? But it's not a bad move. I checked it, make sure it's not a blunder. And now the chances of error for my opponent go up way higher when I play a move like bishop g5 compared to a maybe technically better move, if that makes sense. So that's an interesting strategy. I don't know why my opponent's burning so much time in this position. I think king takes h2 is fairly obvious. Bishop takes d2, and now I'm up 2 pawns. So I believe I'm up 2 pawns, yeah. Bishop f4 check. g3 is expected. And following g3, let's go bishop e5, attacking the b2 pawn. Okay, knight c3, let's go rook c8. Just playing logical moves in this position. No reason to do anything else. And now I have 3 minutes, my opponent has 2 minutes, right? So I'm the one who can take my time and play a little bit slower in this position. My opponent has to be the one to speed up. Okay, some reason my opponent plays that move. Let's go g6. Now I'm threatening bishop takes c3 now. Let's take my time, move king g7. No reason to rush, I'm up 2 pawns. Pieces are not going anywhere. Bishop f6, let's keep pressure on the b2 pawn. Let's go h5, again, no rush at all. Okay, my opponent finally goes b3, which makes sense. Let's go b5. Okay, that makes sense too. What happens if I go rook a1? Rook a8. How is my opponent going to defend that pawn? Rook c1 is the only move that at least try to gain some activity, right? Okay, rook takes a3. Okay, my opponent's playing like he's up 2 pawns. Okay, I mean, at this point, I'm happy to trade. Bishop c2. Let's win the b3 pawn as well. Okay. Takes d3. Wow, that's a lot of pawns. Okay, let's go d2. And now rook b2. Win the rook. Takes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Elwin 200. That was a good game for the most part. I think, obviously, knight c3 wasn't that great. Blundering knight takes d4. That wins pawn. Okay, so I guess that was the last game. But yeah, I think overall that was a great game. You played well on both sides. Very impressed with the move rook c1 for sure. That was a difficult find, I think. Okay, second opportunity. I'm playing against Eba6702, And I am playing with the white pieces, so let's see what happens. D4, D5, C4. Okay, my pet opening the Catalan. Okay, let's go Queen C2. C6, D4. Bishop takes D. Okay, that's surprising. Gotta say, I expected pawn takes D5 because now you're giving me the opportunity to go E4, right? And now I have a beautiful center with a prime opportunity to make things happen here. But the question is how? What can I do in this position? Doesn't seem like a very, very easy position. I think Rook D1 makes a lot of sense. Let's go with that. I don't know, can Black play Knight B4? I mean, I can always go Queen B1 and then A3, right? Okay, Queen C8. Now that's... Let's go A3. This whole idea of Knight B4 hanging over my head is not something I very enjoy. Because I feel like Black would play Knight B4 and then C5. Breaking open everything. I don't like that, right? Especially with this preparation with Queen C8, which I really like, actually. So A3, and now there's no really good place to move the Black Knight on C6 if they want to do it. My opponent wants to do it. Okay, H6. Let's go Bishop F4, just start continue developing. I want to get all my pieces out before making any moves. Right. And I think that's the best idea. And plus, right now it might be threatening Knight B5. At the right time, at least. I don't know, maybe knight b5 here even, because I don't see a way black can defend the c7 pawn. I mean, black can go knight e8. So that's that. Okay, now a5 is a very, very surprising move. I don't particularly like it that much because it makes knight b5 even stronger, because there's no way to kick out my knight. I think a6 would have been a better move, just to prevent knight b5 at all. So I think I'm going to go knight b5 here and just be a little bit aggressive at this time. Okay, so stump my opponent a little bit. That's great. Let's see some of the possibilities, right? Knight e8, I think, is the natural possibility. And at this point, I was thinking maybe just d5 after knight e8. Or knight e8, d5, e takes d5, e takes d5, knight a7, knight takes c7 wins a pawn easily. That seems like a very good option. Though, yeah, I think so. I think that's a good option. I was a little bit concerned because my knight is pinned because the queen on c2 is hanging. But I think we can think again after knight e8, because after knight e8, I mean, worst case scenario, I just play knight rook c1, right? And that in and of itself looks pretty good option. Okay, so because my opponent doesn't have to play knight e8, my opponent plays bishop d8, which might be a pretty good move, because the idea is d5, e takes d5, e takes d5. Now my opponent's playing knight e7. And that's attacking the d5 pawn. So that's a good option. But the drawback of bishop d8, unlike knight e8, when black actually has the idea of playing knight d6, bishop d8 allows me to just play rook c1 without any consequences, I think. Because now I'm putting more pressure, and there's no way to get out of this sort of hole. Unless black plays knight h5, but then I just go back bishop e7. Right. Or knight h5, d5. At that moment looks like a green light option. Knight on h5 is just not a great piece. To put it very, very, very lightly. Not a great piece. And at this point, I might also be threatening knight e5. Right, knight e5, knight takes e5, and bishop takes e5 or d takes e5. Actually, then knight e8. I'm not going to do that. Could I be threatening the idea of bishop takes c7 followed by d5? Maybe. I'd have to calculate that a little bit further, depending on what my opponent plays. Sometimes, I often get asked a question like, how much do grandmasters or how much do chess masters calculate ahead? Right? How many moves can they calculate ahead? And I usually give an answer like, oh, it depends on the situation, right? Because it does. But I'm often thinking, like, at some point, it doesn't really matter how. A strength of a master isn't how far they can calculate ahead, right? it's more about selective calculation, what they choose to calculate and how accurate it is rather than how far they can calculate ahead. Because oftentimes, even the best chess players cannot predict what would happen and what your opponent would play. So calculating too far ahead is actually not useful, right? But of course, you have to have that ability to calculate far, but oftentimes you don't calculate that much in the game in terms of length, right? You calculate a lot in terms of every move you're calculating, right? You're predicting what's going to happen next, but you're not actually calculating very long variations. And when my coaches used to tell me this, if you're calculating too long of a variation, stop, because you're likely doing something wrong, right? Because most chess variations don't need to be that long in the first place. So just a useful tip to put out there, and it's a funny question when I hear it, but that would be my truthful answer if I were to give one. Let's go to e5, protect the e4 pawn. My opponent plays g5, which I don't really know. Like, okay, c6, I was going to go knight d6 and just... I think that's a good idea, just chop off that bishop. I think let's just take that free pawn and then decide what to do next. Okay, because knight takes c6. And now that's a clean pawn with the bishop pair as well. So could not ask for a better position than this. Okay. That move is played. Let's go d5. Open up the position. Take. Let's take. Okay, let's go d6. And d7. I think that's a good idea to just get the pawn as far advanced as possible. I think I have way too much space and active pieces to lose the pawn on that d7 square. So I'm confident in that. So notice how I just said, okay, I'm gonna play d6, get the pawn to d7, and I have enough pieces to support that pawn without even calculating a single variation, right? And that saves time. Of course, if I'm inaccurate in my evaluation, that could be trouble, right? But my hope is, as I become more experienced, a statement like that would become more and more and more accurate. That's the idea. So at this point, I think I can play bishop takes b6, attacking that. Okay. Not sure what to play here. Let's go rook d4. Okay. Bishop h3. It's about time that the bishop gets in the game, right? It's a beautiful sight. g4, let's just take. Oh, my opponent can play rook takes e6, right? Okay, never mind. King h7, now I can play rook c7. Notice how I am doing my best to give my opponent zero counterplay at all. At this point, everything I play is winning, right? Unless I make a significant blunder, almost every move is winning. And in this type of situation, you have to make sure you give your opponent no chances, right? No chances at all. If my opponent plays rook takes c7, guess what's going to happen? Okay, rook takes there, but then guess what's going to happen here? Rook takes f7, followed by bishop d4 check. And black has to give up an exchange. And it probably costs him the game as well. Let's get just gonna go 8-4, no rush. Let's go rook b7. Just get that pair of rooks. Get one pair of rooks traded. Of course, again, any move is winning at this point, but just want to make sure my opponent has zero chances at all to come back. Rook c8, rook d8, rook e8. I'm going to bring that rook over to block it. For example, rook d8. Now I'm going to bring this rook over to d7, offer trade, and now I'm threatening rook takes b2 as well, right? So my opponent has to trade. But then king is stuck, up 2 pawns with no counterplay. This pawn is on light square. I'm going to put pretty much all my pawns on light squares, right? I mean, the king side, that doesn't really matter that much, but this pawn is on light squares, so my opponent has no way of attacking it. My rook's on light squares. Just so the bishop has no chance of doing some sort of attack as well. And now it's just time to advance the pawns, right? Take. Just push. F6. G6. G7. Okay. Wow, okay. What happened there? Yeah, that was a good game as well. I think in opening, it was probably a slight mistake, inaccuracy at least, for black to allow me to play bishop takes d5, knight c3, and then e4 immediately, right? And after that, black's position just became pretty passive. I think a5 was another pretty decisive mistake, allowing me to go knight b5 without any way of kicking my knight out. forcing black to somehow play g5 and get my bishop out of that diagonal. But at that point, black weakens the king side, and also I can continue putting pressure on the c file like I did, right? Rook c1, and then knight e5 later, and at some point the black position just collapses, right? And that's inevitable when you have that much space and that much, and my opponent has that little space. So at some point the pressure would force the position to collapse. Okay. So that's that. There's still a couple games going on. Let's try to see what's happening. Okay, this game is pretty much over. I think rook h1 is unstoppable, which means black wins. I mean, I guess you can move like rook e2 or something. Rook h1. Whoa. Yeah, that just loses. Rook takes g1. And yeah, that is a queen for a knight. Not a pretty sight at all. Okay, let us take a look at another. Okay, queen g3 is checkmate, but okay. This works too. Okay, let's move on to the next game. This one's over. I mean, curious to see how many games are left. Let's take a look. Okay, there's still 3 games left. Okay, let's check the game between. Oh, there's 2 now. Katie 1142 versus Elwin 200, and black looks winning. How many pawns is that? 1, 2, 3, 3 pawns. 3 pawns up. Oh, okay. White wins back a pawn. Brilliant job. And now, what is black doing? I'm not very sure why black is allowing white to just pick up these pawns. Now d3 is vulnerable. King f2. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's an interesting position, though. It's interesting because black is up 2 pawns. But white almost seems to have like this fortress type structure where black's pieces are kind of tied up, and one wrong move could jeopardize the chances of victory. So we're looking at a time pressure situation. Who can really step up, and can white hold on to the position? But allowing 92 knight takes f4. Oh, black missed a chance to win a pawn with 92. But this should also be winning. Yeah, this is winning because black brings the rook to e2, so that's great. Yeah, rook b7 doesn't really make that much sense to me in the first place because you're losing pressure on c5, which gives black a lot of time, right? Unwanted time. And now what? Just rook e2? Okay. Oh. Yeah. Whoa. I mean, rook takes b3 would have won. But again, there's time trouble, so you can't really blame the... Knight takes b3? Yeah. Followed by a4, a3. Rook c1, let's go. c4. a4 is fine too, obviously. c4. I think c4, c3 is the easiest way to win. Black is making it very tough on himself. Okay, tough is the wrong word because you're up that many pawns, but king h7. White might just try to run black out of time. Okay. Okay, black is making progress now. That should be it. c4, finally. Let's do it. c3. Whoa. Okay, I mean, I guess rook e1, a1 queen. But let's play a little bit faster here. Don't run out of time. What? That makes very little sense, but okay. I mean, still winning, but no. Now you have to actually, like, do some work. I mean, black is running out of time, so it's a smart idea just to kind of, like, look through the first winning continuation in mind. And obviously, here you don't really have to think to play, so black should be set in terms of timing and everything. And because of the increment time control, black is already up to 20 seconds, so black is not going to lose on time. Hope I didn't jinx it. That'd be strange. But yeah, no, mate into... What? Did they just draw? Did black just go f2? Holy jeez. Good luck. Oh my god. I'm still trying to recover. I'm still trying to like process what just happened in that other game. Black just played f2 and stalemated white. Jeez. It's one of the craziest things I've seen. I'm still stagnant in my commentary because I'm trying to like understand what just happened. It's like it's almost like damn, like all that work. Okay, we need to move on. We need to move on from that. Let's go knight d7. Threatening e5. Okay, and here black has okay, so white allows me to go e5, which I'm quite happy with. Opening up the center. Of course, no complaints from me. Okay, let's go rook e8. Actually, no, let's go queen e7. I think the rook belongs on d8. If white plays f4, I have knight g4. That's not a problem. I think bishop takes e5 might be a little bit of an issue. Bishop takes e5, I can obviously take with the bishop with the queen. If I take with the bishop, white goes knight f3, and that's double attacking my knight. I mean, my bishop and the pawn. Okay, my opponent doesn't do that, and goes straight away for knight f3, which also is a good move. I think I don't see anything wrong with it. But this does open up some tactics, which I'm going to be considering right now. Actually, no. I was thinking bishop g4 related ideas, but that just falls to like bishop takes e5, and all my tactics don't work after that. So, yeah, it's a failed idea. Yeah, let's go rook d8. Just continue developing, makes logical sense. So, let's do that. I think, see, one of the issues is you kind of have to take what the position gives you. So at that moment, I was thinking too much in terms of how can I get an advantage. When this position is quite possibly just equal, right? There's no way for me to get an advantage. So why am I thinking in terms of advantage? So I have to kind of just accept that and play what the position gives me. So continue developing. See, the last two moves, I think I made tremendous progress. Rook d8, and now I think h5 is an interesting move. Even b6, right at this point, looks interesting. Let's go with h5 though. I like that move. Threatening bishop g4, kind of White's reaction is kind of like, what? And h3 is probably the best move. And if White plays h3, h5 is a progress-making move, right? So it's not like I'm doing nothing. White plays h3, then I can go maybe b6 like I wanted to. White goes bishop takes d5. Now, again, White is the one releasing that tension. And then playing h3. But now, I think I won a few tempos again. So, absolutely happy about that. Now it's time to think really hard because clearly position is equal, no doubt about it. I think my opponent probably feels the same way. The position's around equal. There's really nothing special here. But this is the type of moment where you decide, okay, what is my plan going forward? Of course, you develop your pieces. That's absolutely fine. But the question is, what do I do going forward? So my opponent decides to put a rook on the d file and the e file. I'm going to put the rook on c and d files, right? That's the first part of our plans, respective plans, right? And does he want to play e4? Well, the moment he plays e4, I play d4. That looks great for me, right? So I'm going to play b5 and start pushing on the queen side. And let's see if I can try to create something on the queen side, right? Because I want to fix White's pawn structure. So there are weaknesses to attack. When the pawn structure is c3, b2, a2, which it currently is right now, there's really no weaknesses you can attack, especially because I don't have any knights or any other pieces. There's no way for me to penetrate. So the only way you can do that is break open the position using pawns. Right, so that's what I'm doing. b5, a5 is probably coming next, and just trying to see if I can poke some holes into White's position. already I'm eyeing the move b4 because c takes b4, queen takes b2, right? So that's kind of the first thing I'm thinking about. And I'm gonna be honest, looking back, I don't think I should have played h5 because I feel like h3 benefits white more than the move h5 for me. h3 gives white a hole. h5 potentially weakens my king side a little bit. So I did not completely think that through, and I should have. But again, that's not a particularly major thing, fortunately. So we should be good in that sense. Okay, I think that's a very smart move, rook e2. Very, very smart move. I'm going to continue with what I said I was going to do with a5. Pushing on the queen side. Moves like rook e2, I can tell my opponent's a very good player, right? Because moves like rook e2 instead of a move like rook d2, which is the most obvious way to double up the rooks. But rook d2 is less accurate than rook e2, because rook d2, I can probably play b4, and then queen takes b2, and the bishop can't move to discover the check, because the rook on d2 is hanging, right? So those are very, very subtle moments where I'm like, okay, my opponent knows what he's doing. Okay, I'm gonna go rook b8, just to kind of scare him with a threat of b4. Don't know if I'm gonna play b4 because I'd have to calculate and see if that's a good idea, but it does seem good to me, and it probably will. My opponent will probably try to prevent it. Don't know really how you can prevent b4 though, because if you play b4 yourself, then queen takes c3, so c3 pawn is hanging. But so I guess rook b8 just threatens b4. So I'll take that for sure. Okay, that move I don't understand because that makes b4 even stronger in my book. Takes, rook takes, b3. Okay, so my opponent wanted to set up that structure. Makes sense, but I think that's absolutely progress for me because it's evident that I want the light square. I want the white pawns on light squares, right? And that's exactly what's happening. My pawns are on dark squares, so the bishop can't attack them. Now the question is, what next? What now? And I'm thinking of this idea. I don't know if it's great. But it seems like a good one. I think the bishop on e6 is a little bit useless right now. I don't really like that. So what about the idea of going bishop c8? transfer the bishop to b7 at the moment where my pawn on d5 is still protected. Bishop b7 next, and that way I kind of free up my d pawn to advance, right? Because now I'm threatening d4. I think ideally I would move my rook first, right? Because the pin is a little bit annoying. But I think there is no doubt that my bishop is better placed on b7 than on e6, right? So those little things you have to improve your pieces, right? It's fairly obvious when people say, okay, how do you improve your position? Well, you improve your pieces, right? But thinking about how you can improve your pieces, maneuvers like bishop c8, bishop b7, which I believe improves my position, at least to some extent, is all chess is about. At least once you get to a certain level. Of course, once you get to higher levels, it's much more, but okay, rook e8, now I'm threatening d4, right? Because e takes d4, I go queen takes e2. And secretly or unsecretly, I am starting to place my pieces at its optimal positions. So notice how I placed my rook on d8 and c8 in the beginning, but now the position doesn't dictate that anymore, right? And I have to kind of play the rules of the game. Now my rook is optimally placed, in my opinion, on the e file and the b file, so they're perfectly where they want to be. And my rook on b4 is very solid, taking away control, taking away any possibility for my opponent to penetrate on the queen side, and looks good to me. So now it's just about how do I make further progress in this position. And that will be the question, and it's not an easy answer, right? If it was, okay, what do I do now? That's the question. Well, obviously that's the question, but what do I do now? How do I further improve my position? And honestly, that's not a very easy question to answer. Start with maybe rook e6. That improves my position. So right now I'm not looking for any fancy breakthroughs. I think d4 will maybe allow rook e1, and I'm not sure if that's the right time for it. I think rook e6 with the idea of keeping the rook on e8 protected even when I move my queen later, and also keeping an eye on the a6 square, so potentially I can go bishop a6 at the right moment. I think that's a move that improves the position. That's all I'm thinking. That's all I'm looking for. And perhaps I can even move my queen. Like, I'm thinking the queen g5, queen e7. Right? E7 might be even better square. Okay, that move, bishop d3. Not quite sure about that move, honestly. Now I'm looking at d4, and I'm like, that's a very tempting move. But d4 now allows moves like bishop c4. Don't know if I really want to allow my opponent's bishop to... Oh, but d4, bishop c4, queen e4 wins instantly. So that's not a big deal. Yeah, let's play d4. I think it's the right time because now b3 is hanging, right? So that's a problem for my opponent. You can't go rook e1. Well, you can, but might be trouble after d takes e3. But again, it's not that simple, right? There are still variations that need to be calculated. For example, d4, d takes e3, f takes e3, rook takes b3, bishop c4, rook takes e3 is a very important move, in my opinion. And of course, that might not even be the correct variation. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see if my opponent plays rook e1, because if he doesn't, then everything I was calculating does not apply. In the worst case, I can go d takes e3, f takes e3, and then queen g5 or something. Looks like a decent option from my perspective. Actually, no, it doesn't look like a very great option, actually. But we will keep it under control. Rook e1, maybe queen d5. Rook e1, queen d5. It's like a very, very, very interesting move. And now my queen can take on b3, which will prevent any ideas with rook c4, bishop c4. That's a very, very good option. Okay, I have to watch my time. Right? I'm down on time. That needs to be very, very, very careful. Okay, bishop c4 was played, but like I said, bishop c4, queen e4 I think wins instantly, because I'm double attacking the g2 pawn and the b1 rook. Oh, queen f1, I didn't see that. Queen f1. Okay, did not see that was a move. That was a miscalculation on my part. But even then, queen f1. Okay, my opponent did not see that either, so I got lucky in that sense. But even then, I don't think it was that big of a deal, because I had like d takes e3, f takes e3, queen takes e3, so I probably still have the upper hand in that sense. Okay, is there any way for me to like just... Okay, let's go queen f5. Let's not get too greedy here. Bishop takes d6, queen takes d6. Peace is enough. Peace is absolutely enough. Let's not try to get fancy and win a rook and end up losing a rook. Now my opponent's position kind of falls apart a little bit. Right, queen takes b3 is threatening. I'm threatening queen takes b3. That's exactly what I would play. Okay, my opponent's getting a little bit aggressive here, which, you know, makes sense. But there really is no threat. So let's just play rook takes a4. e6, just queen takes e6. So I'm not worried about that. Okay, let's go rook a2. And if rook b1, queen c2. Queen f1, bishop a6. And that should do it. Okay. Great game. Just send a message to my opponent. Okay. So let's kind of take a brief look at that game, debrief, analyze. And so opening was fine, nothing too special up to here. Allowing black to play e5, there's ways for white to prevent that. For example, I mean even here, like this g6, bishop g7 setup is not so great because white can go c4, right? So white doesn't have to stick with the London setup. And I figured he'd probably stick with it, but the idea of just going c4, knight c3, that's good for white, right? I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's white is slightly better, but that's probably the best way to go. Allowing e5 automatically black equalizes, right? So that's not something that's super great for white. And now I think, okay. This is the moment where white needs to sit and think about what's going on. So I think for starters, rook d2 is better than what happened in the game. a3, okay. a4, that was probably the big mistake in this position. I think rook d2, right? Something like that would make more sense. a4 just allows me to put my rook on b4 and stick it there. And now, obviously, this maneuver is pretty nice. And now just making progress, and black just has more space to operate. And that's always a tough situation when your opponent has more space and there's really nothing you can do. Right, and of course, bishop c4. But queen f1 here still survives. Right, but white can still go queen f1. Which actually looks very good, actually. I didn't even realize that, okay, after queen f1, I can't even take on e3 because rook e8. Actually, I can maybe. I mean, rook d8, rook e8. That is worse than I thought it was going to be. So, f3. Not it. Yeah. Of course, after that, it's just game over. So, yeah, overall, great effort on both sides. Let us see if there's any other games left. So, that's 3 rounds. We're on round 3. That's 3 points. So we're on the right track at this point. Let's see who's the competition right now. So who else has 3 out of 3? A couple people. And I'll be playing them in the final round. So we have Will. I'll probably be playing that guy. So we have 3 out of 3s, including myself. Everyone else has 2 out of So there's no 2.5s. Okay, let's take a look at the last game that's going on right now and see. Yeah, so there's not going to be any 2.5s. Okay, this position is quite interessante, for sure. Whoa, wait, okay, I see. That's a high level move. King e3. I'm actually quite impressed with that move. Just rook a1 now. Or a takes b5, I think. Oh wait. Oh, white is in trouble. Okay, I did not comprehend that this rook on h4 is just trapped. Like there's simply no way out. So at some point white has to play bishop takes h5 and somehow get the rook out of there. That's trouble. That is absolute trouble. b4 I would play as black. Yeah. Good move. And I would just start. I would play king h6. I would double up on the b file. Okay, b3 is played. I'm not sure about that move because now I don't see any way for any side to make progress. Quite difficult to see how black can, or white, because obviously white is not going to expect to win with this rook on h4. There's no way for black to attack it though. That's the issue. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so pawns are equal, but white obviously has the better pawn structure. So black doesn't want to take that many risks unless it's calculated. Unless it's truly calculated. Okay, so white's just going to go rook g1, rook g2. Kind of just waiting for black. Whoa! Wait a minute. You missed the opportunity to play bishop takes d5. Whoa! Black missed the opportunity to prevent white from playing bishop takes d5. Okay, at this point, it's not over yet. Oh, bishop takes c6? Whoa! No! It was... I don't even know what to say. That's a pretty big miss, but... King takes c4? The whole queen side collapses. Whoa. What is happening? Why did black just give up all the pawns? This is game over. This is game over. Takes 6, now rook takes h5. Rook takes h5. Just play rook takes h5. Or that works too. Wow. That just happened. Okay, and that just happened. Okay. Okay, so that just happened. What just happened? I'm not sure, but now we're going to the last round, and it's gonna be tense. It's gonna be tense. Okay, I'm playing Fishdom Legend. Let's do our best here. Let us do our best here. Let's go with the French again. The French defense is the only opening that works for black. Just kidding. It's a good opening though. If you're starting out, you know, happy to show you how to play the French defense. You get a chance. Oh, come on. You have got to be not in the final round. Please don't do this. Come on. No. Do I have to refresh my page? If I refresh my page and this game ends up being a loss, I will not be a happy person. I will not be a happy person. It was going so well up to that point. Why is it glitching again? Come on. See, now I don't know. Should I click exit page? Because, okay, let me try one more time. Let's wait one more time. If it doesn't work, I'm clicking exit page. And that better not forfeit my game. We are exiting page. Okay. No way. Okay. Please do not forfeit this game. I was having such a great time playing chess. Truly, truly such a great time. Chess.com, don't do this. Don't do this. Let's not do this. Let's keep this game going, alright? You don't want to be the bad referee. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Fishdom Legend. We will continue to play. Okay. Ooh, I love this line. See, I love this line because it's dynamic. Interesting. Bishop d6. Ooh, I remember playing this line a while ago. How did it go? I don't want to risk it and play e5 and just not know what's going on, because e5 is a dangerous move if I don't know what's going on. Simple as that. And I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's go for it. E5 in this position. I believe I can survive. Truly believe it. Okay? All you need is belief, and you can achieve anything you want. That's what I've heard in the past, so that's what I'm going to do right now. All you need is to believe, and I believe that I'm not losing any material by playing e5. And even if I do, it's not a big deal. Hopefully. By the way, if I lose this game, chess.com is deducting 80 points from my rating, so that will not be fun at all. That would not be fun. 80 points. I don't know how you can deduct 80 points for one game, no matter what happens. See, that's an issue. You can't be deducting 80 points from a game. What is happening here? Okay, so my opponent's thinking. That's great. That means that... I don't know if that's great, actually. Whoa! What is going on here? That is insane, insane. Not in a bad way necessarily, because I don't know how good this move is. But I don't quite understand it. So I'm just going to play takes. I'm just going to take the pawn. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? Truly. Takes. Okay, e5. Fair enough, fair enough. You go e5, I'll go bishop c5 check. Let's go knight g6. No. Let's make an effort to keep that pawn. Though the effort's not going to be very, very, very well taken, yeah, I'm going to lose that pawn. But at least the bishop pair? At least I get the bishop pair, right? At least I get the bishop pair. Okay, now I am kind of worried about this position. I don't particularly know if I'm in danger. For sure looks like I can be in danger. I'm gonna hope that for now, there's no way for white to take advantage of my weak king. But I know it's only a matter of time because I don't think I can castle kingside here. That looks like a suicide mission, and I'm not about to partake in that. Though, I have to be careful of what I say because, one, castling kingside may be better than just doing any other move with my king because my king is very weak right now. And I could brag all I want about the bishop pair, but if I'm checkmated, it doesn't really matter. So let's see what my opponent comes up with because I already see a move. That I am afraid that my opponent might play. I already see it. I already see it. So to my opponent, wherever you are, please do not play the move that I'm thinking that you will play. Or I might be in serious trouble. So let's see. Let's see what he does. I mean, the most natural move is a move like rook f1, to which I can then respond with many things. Okay, queen h5. Let's see. Bishop e6, maybe? Let me go g6. G6. Let's see. If queen h6, I have the opportunity to play bishop f8 if I want to. And I can, if queen g5, bishop e7, maybe a draw, but then I would lose my chance to get first place. So I don't like that at all. Can I play bishop g7 here and just castle next? I feel like my king is actually pretty safe in that case. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's play bishop g7. And then castle. I think I'm surviving there. Yeah, might have been like over panicking with the idea of like I'm about to lose instantly. Okay, let me go back to this moment where I was like, please do not play the move that I was thinking. Which move is that? E6 looked very, 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 very dangerous for me. Is it dangerous? I'm not sure. After f takes e6, queen h5, king d8, I just did not want to be put in that position where I might have to play that position with my king on d8. But see, the idea is e6, bishop takes e6, knight d4. And then now you're putting pressure on the e6 bishop, and if I move it, then all of a sudden you go rook e1, and there's this mass attack. So not sure whether or not that really is such a dangerous position, but I did not want to find out, that's for sure. I did not want to find out. I actually think I'm fine here now. Now that I think about it, rook e8 is coming next, putting pressure on the e5 pawn. And my opponent has to worry about that because there's no really good way to defend that e5 pawn. So I think I'm good now. I think I'm good. Safe and sound. At least for now. Okay, I'm good on time right now, so that's not a big deal. Let's go rook e8. Queen takes b2 is up in the air. I might do that next. If he plays knight f3, I'm playing queen takes b2, probably. Doesn't. I don't really know how you can defend that pawn on e5. If he plays rook e1, then I'm going f6. That's a big deal. So not sure what the best option is, honestly, for my opponent. I am curious. I wanna know what's going on with the second place game as well. I mean the second board. Who is that? Will Low. Okay. Will Low. Let's see what's going on here. So Will Low is playing Rose Dolphin, and this I think might be a draw. Maybe. Of course, White is going to continue fighting for the win, right? That's obvious. But is there really a way to make progress unless something significant happens? Like, I think you have to play g4 at some point, so... that might be an unfortunate reality. And I don't think white wants to play g4. Okay, let's go back to our game. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did not see that one coming. What's going on here? What happens if I just take? What happens? Oh, okay, but that's better, probably better than allowing me to take on e5, so makes sense. At least my opponent gets the bishop now. Okay, but a pawn is a pawn, right? So we're happy. We're happy with this situation. Let's play queen takes b2. It's a delicious pawn for us to take. My opponent plays c takes d5. Now I'm going rook e5 in between move. That's nice. So I can save my pawn. We're eating a lot of pawns today. A lot of pawns. Which is a great thing. Hmm. Let's go rook g5. I want to clear my queen. Okay, that was... I'm not being precise right now, and I don't like that. I really don't. Yeah, and... Okay, let's play a little bit quicker. Okay, I'm not getting mated. That I know. Well, I hope I'm not getting mated. Based on how I pretty much did not evaluate consequences correctly. I should have played f5 instead of rook g5. Rook g5 was a really bad move. Oh, what is playing? Okay. Okay, what happens after rook h5? So if I play rook h5, rook takes g7, queen takes g7, queen e8, queen f8, queen e6, queen f7, that's fine for me. Rook h5, what other move does he have to stop the checkmate? h3? And then I'm left wondering, what if I play bishop f6 here? Bishop f6 makes sense as a move. Okay, I'm gonna play. Oh, he's threatening rook takes g7. I better not. Oh wait, no, not really. Okay, because I was gonna play h5, giving my pieces a little bit of a breather room. I don't like the fact that my rook is stuck here in, I believe, no man's land. Okay, let's go h5. I don't want to think too long. Okay, because the idea is rook takes g7, queen takes g7, queen d8, king h7, queen takes g5. I have queen a1, and that's going to be checkmated. So there's no way. Oh, I don't know if my opponent missed that or I missed something. But you can't play queen d8 and queen takes g5 because queen a1 is checkmate. Oh, I think yeah, okay. So my opponent probably missed that queen takes g5, queen a1 here. It's an option for me. Or else rook takes g7 would be winning if that wasn't the case. But yeah, okay, clearly an oversight. Okay, let me get queen a1 check. Check. Queen G3. No, that's going to be mate. Okay. Yeah, that was a close one. That was a close one. That was probably the toughest game yet. A very resilient play by my opponent, right? Turning a seemingly really bad position with when my rook got to e8, playing e6 followed by c4, very nice idea, and almost getting me there. Yeah, pretty much lost all my advantage at some point. Okay. Let's see if... Oh, okay. This game ended in a draw. So I believe that leaves the standings. Let's go. First place, baby. Let's go. Okay. Let's see how many games are left. There's 2 more games left, so let's kind of... Let's look through the last 2 games. Okay. Yeah, white is winning. But time might be an issue. But with the rook, it shouldn't really be an issue with the rook up. So I hope white takes care of business here. Let's see if that game is more interesting. Okay, no, it's not. Yeah, this is even worse. Rook takes e2. Okay. Yes, congratulations to myself, Will, and Captain AL13 was my opponent actually. Okay, he won the last round. So, congratulations to everyone who participated in this tournament. It was a very fun time, and hope you guys learned something new. To those who didn't participate, you always have the chance to just visit chess4unity.com. So chess4unity.com and click on the Third Saturday tab, and you have the opportunity to register. So be sure to take advantage of that opportunity, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.